Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Today's topic, I'm going to talk about a term that not too many people have heard of. It's called palimony. Now, palimony laws still exist in some jurisdictions today. Now, palimony is basically similar to alimony. Now, the reason why I'm bringing palimony to the forefront is you have a number of men who are opting out of marriage, but they are living with a significant other. Now, the only difference between living with a significant other and marriage is that people who are cohabitating are not getting the benefits of marriage. Now, it used to be in some states, I know Pennsylvania and Michigan, right off the top of my head, had common law marriage. A long time ago, all 50 states had common law marriage. That's when you and a person lived together, and after a period of 7 years, you were considered married. Since then, you have a number of states who do not recognize common law marriage, but there are some who recognize palimony. Now, what I'm going to do right now, if you live in these states, you need to understand the cohabitation laws, because you have some guys who believe, okay, if I don't marry the woman I want to be with, what about cohabitating? It could also be dangerous as well, because when it comes to government, the government likes to strip men of their money and make a lot of these divorce lawyers rich. So why not make lawyers who utilize palimony rich as well? But when it comes to recognizing palimony, these states still recognize the laws. Alaska, Arizona, California, Connecticut, Florida, Hawaii, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Mississippi, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Texas, Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. If you live in those jurisdictions and you are cohabitating with a partner, you better understand that the palimony law can be your worst enemy. Now, many people don't know what palimony is. They've never heard of palimony. But palimony laws are still on the books. Now, when we talk about palimony, basically, palimony is not a legal term, but one that society uses to basically describe financial support and property division between unmarried couples or couples who are basically cohabitating. Now, typically, when it comes to unmarried couples, and I'm talking about those who have also been engaged, they don't enjoy the protections and benefits of marriage, including those extended during a divorce. Now, what this means is that an unmarried couple is not entitled to spousal support, nor are they entitled to a portion of the marital estate, because essentially there is no marital estate to divide. Now, when it comes to the courts, however, they recognize that many couples live together as if they were married and make financial and life decisions based on the promise of the relationship. Because of this, Some courts rule that a financial obligation still exists even though a formal marriage hasn't taken place. This is most often seen in cases where couples have lived together for long periods of time and had no formal or written agreement with regard to financial support after they split. Now, an award of palimony also depends greatly upon the original intentions of the parties as well as any oral agreements that were made over the years. Now, in addition, alimony is not written in stone, so each case will depend upon the laws of your state as well as unique facts of your case. Now, here are some conditions of palimony that you should know. Basically, when you deal with palimony, you have to understand the length of the relationship that is taking place or that took place, promises or intent of financial support, also sacrifices made by one partner to further the career of the other, and the earning ability of that partner as a result of the sacrifice made. And then they take the difference between incomes. Now, when it comes to child support, well, the same formula figures into the equation for two people who are cohabitating as if they were married as well. So the child support laws don't change. Now, the child support laws also depend on your state or jurisdiction that you reside. Now, when it comes to palimony, palimony is often made as a lump sum distribution instead of monthly payments. It may be a split between cash and property. Now, in order to receive palimony, a suit must be brought before the court, and the process can become very complicated, especially with the absence of any written agreements. Now, to alleviate the problem, couples can enter a formal agreement that outlines their intent to share an interest in various property, as well as an agreement about paying financial support after a breakup. Now, often when we deal with alimony, there's a prenuptial agreement. Now, a prenuptial agreement is basically made before a marriage has actually occurred. Now, when it comes to cohabitating, you have what they call a cohabitation agreement. And this type of document is similar to a prenuptial agreement in that it stipulates who gets what and how the breakup will affect the parties financially. Again, the difference is that a prenup assumes that a marriage is forthcoming and it does not actually go into effect until the marriage has legally occurred. A cohabitation agreement, on the other hand, does not anticipate a marriage and effectively ends when and if a marriage does take place. Cohabitation agreements also allow couples to protect their financial interest while living together and can be a great solution for engaged couples who are deeply entwined financially. Now, I want to make reference to all the information that I've gathered about palimony. When it comes to any laws pertaining to couples in the United States, if you're a man and if you're a woman, but I'm speaking more for the men because we're the ones who actually get stuck with paying the alimony, the child support, and also the palimony because we make money. Now, in some aspects, when it came to alimony, you had people like Britney Spears, Madonna, Mary J. Blige, and there are other celebrities who have had to pay alimony. But when it comes to palimony, the jurisdictions that I have given the information regarding this legality of cohabitation, it's very unique. And like I said, the uniqueness is based on you don't have a written agreement. But for the most part, many of us take living together very, very nonchalantly. We think that nothing can happen. But when you are in a state that recognizes common law marriage and palimony laws, particularly if you're a man, what you need to do, if you're going to cohabitate with somebody in these states, ask a lawyer if they still utilize the palimony laws. Again, many of us take living together or cohabitating for granted because we want to avoid marriage. One thing about the government is going to find some way that they can make money off of one party. Because if you utilize the collection laws and be forceful about it and use the threats, I'd say collection threats, to make basically men pay, or you'll take everything from their bank account, half their business, yeah, men will comply. And women will comply also. But when it comes to palimony, it does exist. I just want you all to understand that. Many people are under a rock about palimony. So what I'm saying to you is, in the states that I've mentioned, if you are cohabitating with somebody, find a lawyer and ask them about cohabitation laws. Because what I just told you, cohabitation laws can work the same way as alimony, but the only difference between cohabitation laws and alimony is just that palimony is not recognized as a marriage because the individuals are not married. But still, the same process can occur. One thing that I'm going to put into this topic as well, if you are in a house with a person, say you invite a female over, and you and that female get into an argument, and that female says you threaten her, you could be put out of your house for 60 days as well. Now, I'm not making this video to beat down on females, but I'm letting you know when you don't pay attention and you react out of emotion, particularly if you're a guy, you can lose everything. When you marry somebody or when you live with somebody, most people don't recognize living with somebody or cohabitation like they do marriage. However, when you're with somebody who's supposed to be your partner and they decide that they want to get up and leave, they can get part of your assets. This is why you have to have agreements. This is why you have to know the laws. Divorce lawyers and even lawyers who engage in palimony make a lot of money for breakups. This is why they don't want families. Cohabitation can lead to marriage. Again, it used to be known as common law marriage. The last state to outlaw common law marriage or dissolve common law marriage was Pennsylvania in 2005. But they still recognize palimony. Michigan also, if I'm not mistaken, still has common law marriage. Most of the states that utilize common law marriage or palimony utilize with cohabitation. Because to me, common law marriage is basically cohabitation, but the government wants to put a spin on it to make it marriage because of the length of time people spent together. Again, it used to be 7 years. Bottom line is, no matter what type of relationship you're in. When it comes to cohabitation, you're not out of the woods either, because the government has come up with a law that's going to help the person who is not the breadwinner gain access to whoever the breadwinner's assets are. Now, again, when it comes to palimony, it's a lump sum, but still, you have to be careful as a man and even as a woman who you invite to be your partner. Now, more women utilize the system of divorce because it's easier for them to get the children. It's easier for them to get alimony. Very few men get alimony. But when it comes to palimony, jurisdictions still utilize it. Now, these are the jurisdictions that I named. However, a lot of people don't know about palimony. But I just want you all to know that the palimony laws exist in some jurisdictions. So if you are thinking about cohabitating with somebody, you better check your laws out in your jurisdiction, because the palimony laws can make you, if you're on the winning side, or break you if you're on the losing side, depending on who has the most or least finances. So if you're thinking about cohabitating with somebody, you must understand that you may be the one likely to pay palimony. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Sunday, February 25th, 2018. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube, so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on my channel, I don't engage in debates, controversial issues, or emotional issues. And that's based on how individuals that I'm presenting the topic to digest the information that I am presenting. Also, I do not participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering, because it is counterproductive. What I do on my channel is give you education. My videos are self-awareness videos. I'm giving you the information so you understand how the real world works, because there are a number of us who walk around in blinders, just like I did with this topic this evening called palimony. Many people don't know it exists. But given that I've researched the topic, now you all have, particularly the male folks, have another subject to look at when you think about cohabitating with a person in the jurisdictions that I just named. Also, when you understand the information is going to give you knowledge, and knowledge is power. But I want to tell you, the information that I present to you is realistic but positive. Because if you don't understand how the real world works, you're not going to succeed in life. And the real world has a lot of twists and turns, and it is challenging. But again, when you have information and you understand it, that's called knowledge. And knowledge gives you power. And if you have a topic, a new YouTube channel, or business that you would like for me to shout out on Blog Talk Radio or here on my YouTube channel, the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other. And have a wonderful and blessed evening. Good night.